Burger King, as a lot of folks know, is a huge fast food franchise, having its humble beginnings in 1953 as Insta Burger King before running into financial difficulties in 1954 where the company was sold and rebranded to Burger King. The company now boasts its presence in many places around the world. Australia seems to be the weird anomaly here, as the chain is known as Hungry Jack's because an Adelaide takeaway had trademarked the name Burger King in Australia when they wanted to set up shop in the 70s. But I'm not here to go in depth about Burger King's history, as this is a video game review. Much like McDonald's, Burger King also had their own product placement in video games, and Sneaking is the one we're going to look at in this review. Sneaking was released as one of 3 games as a promotion with Burger King, and the games were known for being compatible with both the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. In Sneak King, you play as Burger King's mascot, the Burger King, as he goes around sneaking up on people and giving them food when they get hungry. Of course, in this weird universe, people get hungry all the time and pass out if they aren't fed delicious Burger King products within a minute, and the king will need to use the environment in order to surprise people when presenting food. Now, I don't know about you folks, but having a guy emerge from a trash can holding various items from Burger King's menu to feed me wouldn't be the best way to promote tasty food. But I guess if you're that hungry, you'll have to settle. The king will need to surprise and feed people in 4 different levels spanning 20 challenges each. But is the game any good? Find out in The Good. Truth be told, I don't actually have much to say here in The Good. I suppose the one thing the game has going for it is its mission variety. Some missions or challenges might get you to present food from a hiding place, present food to certain people, or make so many deliveries within a time limit, to name a few examples. Others, like one I encountered in the construction site, did not require me to feed anyone at all, and to go around and make sure the king is spotted by everyone in the area. The one thing that ruins your day or fails the mission in most other circumstances. That's the only good thing I really have to share with this game, so let's discuss all of those problems in The Bad. Where do I start? The challenges in the game give you absolutely no indication of what you're being graded on. Each challenge will detail what the king will need to do and whether he is timed or not, but the game gives the player no guideline on the goals they need to meet in order to get that A ranking for each challenge. The challenge does not tell you whether you're being graded on how many points you score or how quickly it takes for you to do things. Some challenges just like to be annoying and make obtaining the A ranking stupidly difficult unless the planets align and you're on your A game. One challenge that comes to mind is one in the cul-de-sac level where the king is required to feed 5 people. Sounds simple enough, right? Not quite. The 5 people the king needs to feed have to be people that spend time in the backyard. And in order to get the A ranking, you'll need to feed all 5 people within a minute. It doesn't help that the game will keep making people wandering around the front yards hungry, and the fact that all the people in backyards are spread so far apart, it's very unlikely to get 5 in a minute. If you're a completionist, this will annoy you to no end. Other missions may require the king to knock on a door, and from there it's up to luck whether the person inside will answer it, and that costs seconds to almost a minute if you're on a timer. While I did say the variety of challenges was one of the game's good points, you'll also find that a lot of the challenges just more or less require you to recognise people's patterns. I was able to complete one of them just by feeding the same woman 5 times and hiding in the same place every single time, which required next to no effort. This comes to a head for the 20th challenge, where you must feed everyone on the map once before they pass out from hunger. The hunger meter is thankfully a little more lenient here, and to really rack up the points it's more or less a matter of memorising where the people go, and to get to the hiding places before they can see you or pass out. I also found that with higher flourishes, the king will score higher points, but the animation takes so long that you might miss an opportunity to rack up more points because you're waiting on the king to stop his little dance number and just give out the damn food. Sometimes the camera will have a fit and go into a weird spot. At least the developers were considerate enough to stop the timer for that. Time still passes when the king gets into a hiding place or performs an action like knocking trees and pipes over, so you may need to plan ahead. And don't get me started on if the king needs to climb a ladder. I swear it's almost like he has a fear of heights at the clunkiness and speed he climbs up and down at. Thankfully, only 2 of the 4 locations will have a ladder for him to climb, and both locations will require him to climb it at some stage. Other than that, there isn't much else to say about this game, so it's about time I give the opinion. It's pretty hard for me to really dislike a game, and Sneak King is one that I did not find very enjoyable. It certainly is an unusual take on a stealth game, but the process of handing out food to hungry people does get repetitive, and while the challenges do get a little varied, if you're a completionist, the game will do your head in as you'll be finding yourself replaying challenges over and over until you get that A rank. I found that after a good couple of hours playing the game, I really didn't want to play anymore, and I was more or less forcing myself to slog through it. If you're curious about the game like I was, then it was cheap and easy enough to find. Just make sure you have a way of playing it if you're from outside of the US and Canada like I am. I do wonder what would have happened in the weird universe where it was a Hungry Jack's game instead of a Burger King game. Would you be given food by Hungry Jack instead of the King? I don't even think Hungry Jack's has a mascot. Nonetheless, it's time for my rating. I would give Sneak King the sad XL Bomb Burger from my local Burger King out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.